Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division with the tournament win for the qualifying round in the Bubbas 9-hole cup here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guide for Pro Expert and Master Division for the Spring Major Tournament by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Make sure you get your package already today so you are prepared when the Spring Major Tournament do start. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I do suggest you to play with. Have in mind that all my thoughts and ideas in this video are suggestions, and you don't have to follow what I do suggest. But you also need to have in mind that my plan here is to try to go as free to play as possible, but I will be using some Win 4 balls as well, because the Southern Pines are a very tough course, and sometimes we will benefit a lot by going with a bit more aggressive rough bump by reducing the wind a little bit more. But I hope you will enjoy it. Make sure that you comment in the comment section below if you do have any questions. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're going to have tailwind, and I want to play with a Titan. I'm going to explain why a Titan instead of a Kingmaker in just a bit. 6 bars of topspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. And now the only thing that I'm actually doing here is that I stretch out the absolute max, trying to visualize the first bounce to be in between the 2 bunkers on the other side of the water. Now, when we do adjust with maximum distance plus 10. Have in mind that once you drop down into the bunker, there is a little glitchy spot there, so have in mind that you might have to correct a little bit by eye once you have adjusted, if you didn't get the full adjust as you want to. Max overpower is what we're looking for, and obviously we're trying to hit perfect. And the first bounce is going to be nicely on the fairway above the water and then roll down the fairway. This is going to put us into a position where we will be playing with a long iron towards the pin. So once again, to go back to the reason why we do play with a Titan instead of a Kingmaker, is that with a low wind with a Kingmaker, there is a small risk, but still a risk, that we might not reach over the water, especially with lower level clubs like APOC 4 or APOC 3s. So make sure that you do have at least 8 miles per hour in terms of wind, so you do get over that water. Second shot, you can see here now that we are pretty close to minimum distance of our club, and the thing that I'm looking for here is to find some sort of a consistent spot here, and that we will do by using a little bit of left spin and also 2 bars of backspin. Leave the ball guideline short of pin when we do have tailwind, otherwise we will come in too hot, and playing with the Grizzly level 7+ is obviously a massive advantage over those that cannot play with the Grizzly level 7+, as they do not have the good ball guideline. 10% elevation for this shot as well, and here I basically take an educated guess, as it's not a linear hole and we don't really have any references, but looking at the end result here, even though it is a great right, we can see that a perfect would have been very close, if not dropping here for hole number 1. I do consider hole number 1 to be an opportunity, not the best opportunity that we do have though, as once again, it is a max overpower drive, it's a non-linear hole, and those type of things makes it hard to quickly dial in a par 4 like this. But no matter what though, we're gonna have a good chance. Hole number 2, we have a direct headwind, very tough wind, and I decided to actually go for an aggressive rough bump here, because I do believe that's going to be the best way to get this ball to drop. 3.8 bars of backspin, top of the inner/green ring by the edge of the rough, ball guideline through the hole. We have played a similar shot like this before, but the last time we played with more crosswind than we did have headwind. Zoom in a lot, otherwise the trees will be in your face. And I'm adjusting this shot 8 rings, which is maximum distance plus 10. The thing that we will see here now though is that I do hit a bad great left, unfortunately, but hitting a perfect ball here will get you close, and it will give you a chance to get this ball to drop. And also, once again, a great ball to the left or a great ball to the right will still clip the rough. It's not that you're gonna miss the rough. And you know, hole number 2 with direct headwind is always going to be a difficult one to work with, and that is the reason that I do play the rough pump, to try to be a bit more aggressive, even though, you know, there is bunker in play. But if you do make the correct adjustment, you will have a chance, and make sure, for God's sake, hit perfect. For hole number 3, we're gonna play a no movement drive, which means that you shall not touch your target until it's time to adjust the rings. Now we do want to use as much topspin possible here with our driver, and as I do have 7 bars of topspin, that is what I will use. But have in mind that even if you use a lower level driver, or and has less topspin, you will still be able to reach for the green for the second shot. It's just that it's going to be a different club distance. And we're going to talk about that in just a bit. Adjust max plus 10, you push up to max, make sure that you push up with a straight ball guideline pointing towards the tee, otherwise you will have a wrestle that you might not want to have. So we get the ball down there, and the closer we are to the rough, the better it's going to be. We have loads of room on this drive, so you can hit a bad great left and a bad great right, and most likely stay on the fairway anyway. Second shot, we play 10% elevation as well, and now you can see here that when we did have such a long drive as we had, we have no problem to get to the green in 2. We are going to be somewhat medium distance of our club. And why have I then added maximum distance in the info box? The reason I've added the maximum distance there is to somewhat have you to understand that it all depends on how far you reach with your drive. So if you play with a lower level driver, or have less topspin than 7 bars, you will still be able to reach, but you might just want to play it max distance instead. Now, I did aim for to bounce over the bunker at start, but I kind of felt like when I was setting that up, that why? It's like, it is the qualifying round, we will not have a week to dial in this shot, and that shot to bounce over the bunker is so extremely difficult that it will take a lot of time to give ourselves a good look at the pin. So I'm just going to play it safe, land it on green, take my eagle putt, and if you feel if you feel comfortable with the shot that I showed you here that landed on green, then move even a little bit more to the left and maybe reduce the curl. Then the worst case that it will be is that you will have a wedge towards the pin for a simple eagle. And that's the only thing, once again, that we should be looking for here, because in a 9-hole cup, all about not making mistakes, and obviously take the chances when it's offered to us. Hole number 4, and I'm going to start by playing with the rock level 9, and I'm going to use 4 bars of topspin, 3 bars of side spin to the right, and you can see that I'm leaving the left side of the white ring approximately 1 ring from the rough on the left in complete max distance. Now, adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10. And once that is adjusted, we shall not push up to max with the rock level 8, level 9, but if you do play with the rock level 7, you shall push up to complete max. Right side of the ball, just outside the adjustment ring to the right, and try to hit perfect. Now you will notice that this drive is going to go to 359 yards. The second shot that you will see is going to be from a different account, and it's going to be from a drive that is 363 yards. Why? It's because the game didn't show the second shot in the replay, so I had to play on a different account to get there. So 363 yards is what we're going to have in mind now for this shot. 7.9 miles per hour is what we are going to play, and you can see here now that we have a pin check that was +7, just to have that in mind. And we do have, in that case, 1 bar of backspin, but I'm gonna change 0.8 bars of backspin and half a bar of side spin to the right. The green ring / the inner ring by the edge of the rough with the ball guideline going through the hole. 5% elevation is what we're going to play in terms of elevation, and then we're going to see what we're going to adjust. 7.7 rings is what we are looking for, and 7.7 rings is going to give us 55% slider, and once again 5% elevation. and it bounces nicely into the rough. We love how the camera angle turns like that, and we get it to drop on the left side of the cup. Obviously, we can add maybe 1 decimal extra to get it right at pin, but who cares when we get it to drop? This is a good chance. I like this rough bump a lot. And I do think that once again, with the references that we do have, you can either use yardage notes or you can use a pin check. So pin check was at +7 and yardage note was at 363 for this shot. And we played a 55% slider, 5% elevation with the sniper. Hole number 5, and we will be playing with a rough bump. Here I want to be very clear with that if you're going to play with a power 3 ball, you need to have at least a wind 4 ball, wind 4 resistance, otherwise you will go in between clubs for that shot, especially in high wind. Here I'm looking to have the top of the yellow ring by the edge of the rough, 1 bar of backspin, 0.2 bars of side spin to the left. You can see here now that we do have the ball guideline to the hole and top of the yellow ring by the edge of the rough. Medium distance +10, but we're using power 1 ball settings, which will give us in this case 5.9 rings. Very important to not have any overpower, curl or underpower, because again we're playing an aggressive line, but I do believe that this line is going to be the best way to do because we do have a lot of room on that rough. Gets up the hill and falls down with a nice speed right at pin for a beautiful hole-in-one on hole number 5. And once again, have in mind that you will have to play with a wind 4 ball minimum if you do play with a power 3 ball, so you don't go in between clubs. But the ball that I play with is the same as the Raptor ball that is suggested in the info box. It's a power 2 wind resistance 4, and so mix around, check out the website golfclashtommy.com/balls, then you can find all balls that do have the correct stats for this specific shot, so check it out. For hole number 6, we're gonna take a look at the drive a couple of times because it's gonna go quick. We start with the spin. I'm using 4 bars of top spin, 2 bars of side spin to the right, and I'm using a Titan. Stretch out to absolute very max, and with Apocalypse 5 and 6, we look to have the left side of the blue ring by the edge of the fairway/rough. Then we release, we go max overpower, max curl to the right, and release for a power. Was it power slice or power hook? I cannot remember what direction is which. So that is also a reason we're gonna take a look at it again. So there we go. We take it again. You see we are going to use a fixed position here, and we are honestly not really gonna care that much where we do have the first bounce. Yes, that it is on the fairway. The plan is to get the ball to be as far down the fairway possible to go past the tree. And here we can see it is a power slice that we're doing, and the ball is coming down very nicely. We are far away from the rough and bunker, so there's no risk hitting that. I would recommend though that when we do have a low wind with a Kingmaker, for an example, like a 7 to 8 miles per hour, change to play with a Titan to make sure that you're not gonna clip the tree with your slice, because there's always a risk with power slices to, you know, do something that we are not prepared for, because it is an inconsistent way of playing, but in this case it's the only way of playing, as we cannot get to anywhere near a good opportunity than doing what we just did. Now the second shot then, and we're going to play with a short iron towards the pin. Here it's very important that we do go to maximum distance, we go to minimum distance to estimate our club distance. And the reason we do that is because otherwise we're just going to completely guess. Now at least it's going to be an educated guess, and this shot is going to be a good opportunity to drop. 20% elevation is what I'm using, and in this case I play 20% slider with a thorn level 9. And looking at the end result here, we could definitely add a decimal to our adjustment, but we're getting this one to swirl in from the right side of the cup. Perfect ball, and we see here once again it comes in. We love the camera angle, and it just gets in there on the right hand side. So one more decimal would be even better, so like a 23% slider from that range. In the end, the hole number 6, it's not going to be a 100%er, I believe, but if we can do the drive correct, we're going to have a very good chance, and an albatross in a 9-hole cup is a massive advantage because many players will have the same score, and then an albatross will work really good as a tiebreaker. I was very excited to get to play hole number 7 until I got to the tee and saw direct headwind, because then I know that catching the funnel on the green is going to be extremely difficult, and we're going to notice that once we are playing the second shot. Maximum distance plus 10 is what we're looking for. We are going to use max side spin to the right and 6 bars of topspin. Not full curl. Once I go to max curl, I remove approximately half a ball from max and go still max overpower and try to hit perfect. We do want to get this ball as far up the fairway possible, and the better driver you have, like the more topspin you have, the better it's going to be on this shot. And the reason I'm using 6 bars of topspin is to make it more similar to the general driver, as has mostly 6 bars of topspin. It's only big boy drivers that do have 7 bars topspin, in my opinion. Second shot, we are going to play Grizzly from absolute minimum distance. But look here now first. I'm trying to mix around a little bit, trying to find a spot that first and foremost gonna be with my short iron. But I noticed then that I'm too far away. That's pretty obvious. So I changed to the Grizzly, trying to use backspin, trying to aim at trying to aim to catch the funnel. But the problem is, when we do play with a long iron, we will not have the ball guideline towards the pin, and finding the funnel is going to be extremely difficult with the long iron. Trust me on that. So I do try to go and attack the pin directly as just a normal shot, and that is the way that I will continue to do as long as we are going to play with a long iron. The only way that I would change is obviously if we do get into a short iron range, or maybe have like a flat crosswind or something like that instead of a headwind. Because the test that I did this morning was that, you know, once I get stuck on the green, I didn't even fall down, and one that I thought I'd catch the funnel, I missed terribly. So that leads me to believe that the funnel with the long iron is not really what I should go with. You decide what you want to do. I over adjusted that shot because I played it 15% elevation, not 10% elevation. That's that we should be doing. So 10% elevation from absolute minimum distance of our club, and again the club distance is minimum distance, as we will be using on hole number 7 with pretty boring wind. For hole number 8, I'm going to play a backspin shot on the green. And now you may wonder why does Tommy show with a Thor's Hammer level 7, because I don't have that. You can actually play this shot all the way down to Thor's Hammer level 4, because the Thor's Hammer level 4 does have the backspin. I would say the Thor's Hammer level 3 will be a stretch. It does have the backspin, but the problem will then be the power. So Thor's Hammer level 4 plus, and if you play expert, that is a club that I do think you shall have. We go 6.5 bar backspin, 3 bars of side spin to the right, and we're going to aim, and we're going to take a look at the aiming point just a little bit more in detail in just a bit. We go with overpower here, which is that we move the ball down all the way until the ball, like the ring, cracks. So we don't want the ring to crack, we just want to be just before that. Now it showed birdie. That's because I timed out on the first shot, because trying to find the correct landing spot. So once again, we add spin first. That's very important. Now look at my ball guideline here. You can see here that I do have the third bounce to be in the center of the dark green square row, and the top of the ball guideline to go approximately 3 green squares above the pin. That is what I'm looking for. I know it's not going to be 100% consistent, but this is a very tough hole, and if we can get this ball to drop, I'm going to be very pleased. 1201 in pull angle, maximum distance plus 5, power 3 ball settings. So you can see here now that we're using overpower. You can see here that we go and cover the bottom teeth, and we make sure that the ring is not going to crack. And getting a drop on hole number 8 is going to be massive, because this is a very tough hole regardless what way you're playing. But I do believe that using a backspin shot takes away the risk of going into the bunker or into the rough with a bounce over shot, even though a bounce over shot is an okay way of attacking this pin. Okay, so for hole number 9, here you cannot play this shot if you do not have an Apocalypse level 6 plus or a Thor's Hammer level 7 plus, because then you will get stuck into the bunker and then it's bye-bye Eagle. So we're going to talk about what to do if we do have lower level type of clubs, but first we're going to take a look at what we do here. Adjust max plus 10, add as much topspin possible and 2 bars of side spin to the left. Max overpower, try to hit perfect. The thing that this will do is that it will not bounce you over the rough and the sand, it will bounce you into the rough to then bounce out on the fairway. And that's totally fine, we can live with that because it is headwind and that's extremely difficult to get that ball over. It could be that if you do have the possibility to play with a topspin boost ball or something like that, that you might get yourself over, but in the end, I do think that's going to be a stretch that as well. If you do have a driver that is Apocalypse level 5 or below, or Thor's Hammer level 6 or below, or Extra Mile level 8 and below, because I want to add that as well, Extra Mile level 9 would absolutely work here also. Then you will gonna have to lay up on the top left corner on the first fairway, because you should not gamble to get it over, and then you're gonna have to play 3 shots towards the pin and most likely going to have a very tough time to get that eagle, and it's going to be a birdie. That's why, you know, once again, having better clubs here will be a major advantage. Now I do play still with a power 5 ball. It's just that this was the second go that I did play, and this is a, you know, a way of playing with the Horizon, which is a club that we do not play that often. Max plus 10 is what I would like us to play with in terms of adjustment. I'm using max topspin and as much left spin possible together with the max topspin. Adjust, then we're gonna go full blast overpower and full curl to the left. The only thing that I can think of here is that we should be moving ourselves like a 2 rings more left, because look how close we are to the rough. It somewhat gives us a very nice way towards the pin here. From here, we will have a straight wind towards the possibility of making an eagle. So in the end, a power 5 ball is a must. We need to have big boy clubs, get it over. Second shot Horizon, if you do have a higher level Cataclysm, then use that instead because it has a better accuracy. It's just the top spin that I'm looking for when it comes to the Horizon. Then play yourself up to the right side of the green to have a short wedge towards the pin to lock in the eagle. I'm not going to be, you know, if I would miss the eagle here, I would not be sad because the majority of the players will do that. But I've been working this morning to give yourself at least an option that is a good option to get an eagle. And everyone that has played hole number 9 before in tour play knows that if we're going to have to lay up before the bunker, the eagle is basically gone. Obviously, we're going to do our best, but we're going to have to lay up and then try to go for a rough bump or something like that, which has a very small percentage drop rate in my opinion. So this is an example to what to do if you do want to push it hard to get an eagle. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Expert Division for the Bubbas 9-hole cup here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure you get the ultimate tournament guides for the spring major tournament that comes up soon here in Golf Clash by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you so much and good luck in your Golf Clash game.